And welcome back to Scab Talk, everyone. Today's episode, we catching you up on the Tarkov news as per usual. Today we got Giga's progression with the hardcore wipe, what he's playing through. We got Tarkov news, lots of Nikita's leaks, so much that we're drowning in it. Deadlock had its first land, and it was almost a failure. I'll tell you about that. Halo Combat Evolved is the best game ever, obviously, and Battlefield 6 Beta.
Battle 6 Field Beta. I love it. Excellent. So yes, indeed. The hardcore wipe continues.
Yes.
People, suffering, playing, not playing, whatever. I think at this point it's pretty clear to say, just as an overall thing, that there probably are less people playing at this point. I think it's pretty obvious. Despite what Nikita says about, there's more players than ever. I mean, maybe that's across both PvE and PvP. I don't know. But, people have pulled up lots of different sources. People have looked at, the Google Trends. There's people searching for it. Like, I've definitely seen it in terms of viewership for YouTube content. It makes it quite a hard wipe to make content for, partly because things are less prescriptive, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think it's mainly also people just like, getting to a certain point and just not wanting to do it anymore. Yeah, just being a bit disinterested in how hard it is. So it's one of those ones where there's a certain, the segment of the player base that probably would be playing anyway is like more interested in like really, enjoying certain elements. And we've all got criticisms, I'm sure, but it's been an interesting test. But I think for that kind of, you've got the two groups, and then you've got that sort of more casual 50% of the player base who are just kind of like, this is just too much work. It's too hard.
I totally get that.
And it's things like, I think the main, there's like the real two critical problems, it seems, for people who are more casual right now, is a lot of those people are on standard, and the stash space thing is just crazy. We've talked about this before, but without partial hand in. Like, some people were asking me, because my stash is a bit of a mess right now because I didn't clean it up after yesterday's stream, but I had basically a page free, probably page and a half actually, just free. And even people in EOD and Unheard are just like, have you got so much space? And I'm like, well, I kind of went from not having any space ever to suddenly, because a few modules opened up, I handed in probably well over 100 squares worth of hideout items in one go. And then also got the thick items case, because you get to level 35, you get the LEDX, you get the ophthalmoscope, you do therapist questline up to your healthcare privacy 4, then you get private clinic, and then you get the thick items case. So the combination of those two things, basically, like, loads of my stash just like collapsed in items, right? Like, all the stuff that I was hiding in my just like up at the top of my stash, I was like, oh, I can actually put all this away in like all the various rigs and things that I've stored, and it just created this huge space. But a lot of people are just not in that position. Is trying to get the hideout upgraded on standard is really hard. Even stash 1 is like 2.5 mil. So that's the one point, it's the stash space thing, which is just has just really caused some problems with the double hideout items. It's like less an issue. I mean, yeah, finding the stuff is annoying, but storing twice as many hideout items until you have the very last piece across like 4 different modules, like, yeah, as I said, it can easily lead. You think about it, you need, say you need 8 of a 2x2 item. Well, that's already 32 squares just on its own for one item, and then you need 30 wires. Well, that's another 30 squares. Like, you quite quickly end up in the sort of 100 to 200 squares region of like stuff. If you need to upgrade workbench and generator and rest space, and then something else like security or whatever, that's like it's all pinned on the generator and something else. So I think that's been a big issue. And then the second part is the trader. I think this trader spend is just way too high.
I agree. Personally. I think that's probably the biggest flaw, because normally the solution would be, just farm up a junk box. Like, just get rid of some stuff. Like, you're probably over hoarding. Just go through a cleaning, and you'll make a decent amount of change, and then it's much more achievable to work up to that mill for that 5th junk box. But whenever you're getting like breadcrumbs for therapist, here's a golden rooster, here's blah 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 LEDX, and what, only 3,000 rubles? Like, yeah, it's kind of a scam.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like a golden rooster now, I think I've got one somewhere. Yeah, so it sells for 40k, which is alright, but that's like 10k per slot. That's like a bare minimum from the previous wipe, right? Yeah. It's like 4 squares, like something like Fire Steel's pretty good, like 28k, but how often do you find those?
Yeah,
it's just not really that often.
Yeah, I mean, those are like, what? I thought they're like 56k or something normally. Doesn't sound right.
Something
though. The
like
math's
that,
not mathing.
No, but maybe they're more like 35 or 40ish. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's just hard. It's just hard to make money. I think maybe I think maybe the sale price could go up a little for sure. In general, I mean, this is the hardcore wipe, so it's kind of all bets are off. But the fact that you sell stuff for so little to the traders, it means that then it takes ages to get the money spent up, and the money spent is so high, especially Peacekeeper. Like Peacekeeper's like multiple things that we were talking about this yesterday on stream.
Mhm.
There's like there are benefits to having Peacekeeper be kind of hard. Like one of the things that they took away from him, and also from Skier, but that's kind of less of a problem, is the dollars. So you can't buy dollars.
Yeah,
So the only way to
so
source
odd.
dollars from Peacekeeper is to sell items to Peacekeeper. It's the only way to get USD, really, other than doing quests and
Yeah.
finding it in raid. So you could do that as well. But the only direct way to do it is to sell items to Peacekeeper, which is fine. But then you get hardly anything. You get 15-20% of the item's value in USD which, and you then need to use that dollars to go. Because I had a situation yesterday, right? I'm Peacekeeper 3 now. I am finally. I've had it for like a couple of days. And I was like, oh, well, I'll buy, 80, I'll buy 100 M855 so I can actually run my 556 guns. So I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, I actually don't have enough dollars. I was like, well, I've got to like sell some random stuff in my stash to Peacekeeper so I can like have enough dollars. Yeah, I've got rubles, but I don't actually have any dollars because that
Yeah.
inconvertibility now is like actually kind of, it's sort of interesting. Like there was an argument being made by some people in chat just being like, well, it's kind of good because it sort of balances out the fact that Peacekeeper 3 is quite strong. You know, you can't just
Okay.
like convert and then buy stuff from him. You know, in that situation, you can almost put like better stuff on him. Like I don't think he has 5.6A1. I think they've taken that off Peacekeeper 4. Not that it's open yet, but he doesn't. You can see on the fleet that he doesn't have it at the moment. But there's
Is
an
that a
argument
new
to be made that
thing? Like this
yeah,
wipe,
that's
you
the
think?
newest wipe. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's newest wipe. But there's an argument to be made that well, if it's kind of expensive and it's hard to get USD,
Right.
in some
Yeah.
ways, it's like well, it's kind of a balancing thing.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I
could
don't
see
know.
it.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, I mean, like level 4 Peacekeeper is 110,000 US dollars. So that's about 16 mil trader spend with him, which is like it's a lot.
That's
It's a lot.
insane.
So Prapo max spend is 6.9, Mechanic is 7.5, Ragman is 7.5, Jaeger is 5.1. Peacekeeper's ridiculous to be said.
Is he
And Ski is like
always that
7.8. No, so all of these are way higher, and this is the thing because of the issues with just I wouldn't say issue, but just the feature of the difficulty of making actual cash.
Fun way of putting it.
My main problem with this is that it makes it very hard for people who are playing casually to actually just do this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good or bad? It's kind of up to you. But the problem that I have with it in general is that I feel like this wipe is supposed to be kind of like, oh, you're not really supposed to be buying things from the traders. They're very expensive, and you don't get much from them in terms of cash when you sell stuff to them. So you really want to be doing the barters,
Mm-hmm.
but the rate at which you're doing barters isn't high enough to actually ever get you enough trader spend to get you to the next trader level. If you see what I mean. So it's like the game's kind of being like, oh, don't use the traders, but then also you have to because otherwise you can't get to the next level, even if you've got the level and like character level, and even if you've got the trader rep from the quest. You need to be using the traders to buy and sell. Otherwise, you can't get to the next level. So it's a bit counterintuitive. I kind of wish they'd left the traders spend you can keep it in. You don't need to make it 0, but you just keep it how it was before. It's a classic BSG wipe though. Every single dial gets turned to 11. And then just see what breaks. It is interesting. I wouldn't necessarily have predicted this. I wouldn't have thought this is like kind of 3 stages in, right? It's like, oh, the traders going to be more expensive, and you sell this stuff. Okay, I'm going to have less money. Okay, but that also means that the trader spend is going to go up less because I get less money from selling things, which also means I can't buy as many things. So I'm relying more on being in raid. But that means my trader spend doesn't go up. That means I'm actually struggling to get to the next level because the trader spend is double. So it's like actually like 4 times harder to get the trader spend. Because every single mechanic works against you. Like the trader spend is higher, the sell price is lower, the buy price being higher does actually kind of work. Oh, and a public service announcement for this. It's been widely reported that trader repairs do not contribute towards the trader spend. They do, but it's a classic BSGism. So they and I actually tested this, and there's a shortcoming for it. But basically, I've repaired an SVD. It's 200,000 rubles because repair costs are just off the chart. We'll talk about that again in a minute. The repair costs are off the charts, but I was like, 200k, we'll do it for science, and also we'll be able to see it because you don't get that much granularity with the trader spend, right? It's like 4.5 and no more. So if you do a small amount, it's kind of hard to actually see whether it actually worked or not. So spent 200k, it does not appear in the trader spend, but then when you like buy an item or you resynchronize the item server in any way, it then does update. So it doesn't update on your client immediately, but it does count. So the server has it. And when you update literally anything else, you will then see it appear. So you repair, nothing happens to trader spend, and then you buy like a single bullet, and then whoop up it comes, and you get like 0.2 added to the trader spend.
I
So
feel like
it does work. It just doesn't look like it works.
there's been lots of bugs associated with the repair menu, it feels like, over the course of Tarkov's history.
Yeah, lots of things. Yeah, repairs are just one of them. I mean, and it didn't matter that much, but it's just things like you repair and it doesn't repair to where it says it's going to, and you know,
It's
just
just
all of
so
this stuff. Or
weird.
you have to repair multiple times if you're using an armor repair kit. It doesn't repair to full, but it doesn't cap it out either. So it's like, oh, I'm at 31 out of 40, and you repair with the repair kit, and it goes, oh, you're at 36 out of 38. And you're like, why? Why have you done it like this? This is so weird. Yeah, so it's strange, but look, there's definitely advantages to the wipe too. You know, we've talked a bit about insurance and about gear not just inflate. I think the economy's been kept. The real lid's been kept on the economy for obvious reasons. You know, the money sinks in the game just like vastly outweigh the money sources. So that's why everybody's poor and lots of people can't be bothered to play. So there's a balance to be made. But it shows that the Tarkov economy can be controlled. You know, with these elements, it's not just spurious speculation. You know, in the theoretical economic, stuff. We're just musing about things like, oh, well, the Tarkov economy we fix if you do this. But yeah, if you do everything, if you make money hard to make, you make money not that useful because it's much more expensive to buy stuff. You make insurance pretty much unviable. You make repairs really expensive. You make traders hard to get access to through lots of money spent. Then everybody is just in like total poverty tier.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what happens. You know, the meta gear isn't just flowing freely through the economy anymore due to insurance and just like slowly infinite amounts of these things appearing. I mean, it would be capped a little bit in hardcore wipe anyway because people aren't like buying this stuff from the traders, but you'd still find them sometimes, and that would slowly lead that circle of just they're everywhere. Everyone's using one eventually, which we aren't seeing because they're actually the gear is disappearing from the game through the insurance mechanic. And then on the flip side of that, I haven't tested this because I'm not really a big fence user, but a lot of people are just like, man, fence. I think I spoke about this last time. Like fence 4 is like absolutely goated because like no one's insuring anything. So there's like full Karuns appearing, class 6 armors, like, and they're expensive, sure, but like you can't buy them any other way.
But you pay like a fence premium, right? Or do you pay a standardized price? Like I don't even know. Do you still pay the fence?
But people were saying it's like, I'm not sure, but it's something along the lines of like 180k for a Karund, for example. So it's not in the context of 100k for a class 4 armor. Yeah, it's kind of alright, you know. It's not that bad. So anyway, so we'll get into the meat of what has been going on. We'll just kind of go in order and go through it so we don't forget anything. So the first changes that they made, which was on the 6th. So last time we recorded we had a scheduling issue. So last time we recorded was on the 1st. We've got like a week and a bit's worth of stuff to catch up on. We'll go through it relatively quickly. They added the Labris, the in-game task line for the Labris access card keycard barter. This doesn't matter for most of us mere mortals, but it does make a difference for those people who are going for Prestige 3, because Prestige 3 apparently requires the Labyrinth figurines as well now as all the other figurines. So a lot of the big grinders are like on that. They're trying to go to Labyrinth and get stuff. A lot of people complaining about the lack of loot and the fact that they're not really appearing, and they've done 17 raids and not seen a single one. You know, there's a... Well, what's the kind of equivalent of first world problems for Tarkov? I'm not sure. You know, it's like 1% grinder problems, like Prestige 3 problems.
I mean, streamer problems comes to mind. I feel like that's a common ethos thing people would say.
Something like that, yeah. And then increase the weapon and armor repair cost at traders. This did actually spark a bit of outrage. Increase the weapon and armor repair kit spawn chances and adjusted their durability, which I actually haven't checked that out. I should see what that is. Increase the leveling speed of skills related to weapon and armor repair. Fine, because it was pointless before. Increase the enhancement chance, the enchantment, when repairing weapons and armor via repair kits. So they were fudging about with what we do with repairs. They did make it really stupid. This is kind of when I did the test. That's why it was 200k to repair an SVD. So found one on a scav. It's like 40 out of 60 durability. It's like 200,000 rubles to repair this thing. It did seem a little much, to be honest with you. And there were things like it was kind of crazy. Like Nikita saying, not Nikita, sorry. Various streamers, I think Airwing had like a class 5 plate or a class 6 plate or something. It was like 0 out of whatever it's supposed to be, and it was like 1.5 million rubles to repair or something. Which is like, what the hell's going on? And so Nikita made a post on the day, basically saying like, repair price is a bit too much, will be changed. Also note that do not include the global loot spawn chance increased by 25%. Which a lot of people didn't really seem to notice, or they didn't seem to really change anything. So then they came up with another one the following day, adjusted repair costs for some items, adjusted the repair costs at skill and mechanics. So now it's like it's in a bit of a better place. So for example, I mean it's still quite expensive relative to what it is normally.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just like kept this randomly. I've got a 53 out of 94 Grotch pistol. It's annoying because if you go into a scav run and you pick up scav guns, you then end up having to sell half a defense because it's just not economic to, unless you're really trying to get trader spend. It's not really economic. So repairing that to full with Prapor is like 20k. It's like I could just buy a new pistol for that.
Yeah.
25,000 with mechanic. Did I have any other armors? Let me see if I've got any other armors so I can gauge what that might be. Let me just check. Armor vests. I usually repair everything, so I might not actually have a good example. Got rigs. Here's one. What's this one? Yeah, this is an ANA M1 with. To be fair, this is just the front plate really that's damaged. Let me see what that costs. So repairing the front, a class 4 front plate from 32 out of 44, that costs about 15k. So it's it's expensive. It's expensive, but it's not necessarily too bad now. It's kind of kind of okay. Like you have to sort of think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like you had to kind of think about it before. I don't know, it's hard to kind of get a grasp of it relative to, like, the garage example sounds really bad. I guess my first question would be, I can't imagine it's the case, but like, given it's a hardcore wipe, I could see a potential of players opting to use scav weapons more. I'm sure there's like a small increase, but it's probably not that common. I was going to ask a question earlier, but I feel like I kind of know the answer. But kind of, anyways, related is like, why do you think they decided to like increase the repair costs now? Like, was it like, oh shit, this is oversight? Too many players are affording repairs, or like, is there some type of incentive they're trying to like reinforce?
It's a good question. I think the answer to that, I find it hard to know what the answer is to that.
Of course.
But I think the answer is in the other things that they did with the balancing changes, which is these parts, right? So they're like, we don't really want you repairing. Like repairing at the trader is more just work in the menu. What we really want you to be doing is, or it's like a privilege, I guess, to be repairing with the traders. And you have to kind of think about it. It's like got to be something valuable. You can't just you don't want to just repair. I guess the point is we don't want people repairing items just to sell. Like the repair cost is cheaper than the sale price, like delta.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like an item broken is 10k, an item fixed is 50k, and the repair cost is 5k. It's like no brainer. You repair it, just sell it. It's like
I see what you're saying.
There's no reason. There's not an interesting decision behind that. If you're being very generous with your interpretation. But the reason why I think that maybe their thought process is because of the increased weapon and armor repair kit spawn chances.
Yeah.
So it's like they want you to find one. They want you to use it on your stuff. They want you to find an armor repair kit. They want you to use it. They increase the leveling speed of skills related to the weapon repair, increase the enhancement chance. So it's like we want you to use the repair kits. We don't really want you to use the traders by default. We want you to try to find one of these things to then repair your stuff to engage with the enchantment mechanic, as I love to call it. I'm never going to call it enhancements ever again. I don't think it's always enchantments now because it's proper Minecraft enchanting table. So it's related to this, but I still think the fundamental problem with all of it is that the enchantment system is like it's fundamentally just not worth it. It just doesn't do enough. It's like it's way too stingy with its bonuses. It's like, oh, okay, you can have like in the best case scenario. Sorry, I bumped my mic. In the best case scenario, you can have like minus 20% damage or something for the first third of the durability, and then it's gone. So it's like that's like a single hit. Then I guess.
Wait, why does it work on the first third of durability?
I can't remember the exact thing.
Is that a feature?
Let me. Yeah.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Very strange. It's very strange. Let me try and find the page. Heavy vest. Let's have a look. So after reaching this thing, where is it? So look. Yes, enhancement types. So the best one, the rarest one is the 20% reduced incoming damage. Let me see if I can find where it says here we go. So enhancements, right? After reaching level 10 in the skill, you have a chance to add an armor enhancement on each part individually when repairing heavy armor. To be clear as well, you need to be level 51 before you even have a chance of getting the 20%. So 20% for me is almost like the baseline for it actually being useful, right? The rest of them are like 2, 3, 4%, like damage reduction. Like, my man, we're talking about 2, 3, or 4 hits to kill. Like this is we're in a whole, like 2% is in a whole different ballpark. Like,
I mean, this is definitely MMORPG territory, you know.
but it's like, you know, on one hand, like the real game, practically speaking, we're talking like big chunky breakpoints.
Yeah, exactly.
On the other hand, we're talking
right.
like 2%. It's like, oh, in this one niche scenario where I happen to be wearing this particular plate with this particular durability, and they've got this particular ammo, like it goes from 2 to 3 because it just tips over because it's so close to the breakpoint. But like anything that's like, you know, midway through a breakpoint, it's just going to make no difference.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so it says you get to level 10, you can then repair your stuff and get an enhancement. The enhancement stays on the armor part until it loses 25% of its maximum default durability. So I was being too generous there. Or until it gets repaired. So you can't repair it. And if it goes from 100 to 75, it's gone. So it only happens for like the very first round. Unless you're being shot with like PSO or something. Like, sure, but then you're not taking any damage anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, what type of like damage reduction is it? Like armor damage? Like is the damage reduction
actual damage to you, which is good. Like, don't get me wrong, that's quite good. If you
probably
combine
would
that with the mitigation, you know, it's like what, you know, that might stop you. It says these is like niche situations where it's, you know, big high damage stuff. Like, would that stop you getting one shot by PS12B through a class 4 if you had the extra 20%? I don't actually know. I haven't done the math, but it's just it's one of those. It just doesn't do enough, you know.
What's the Mosin round?
Niche, right?
Isn't there a Mosin round that's like 86 damage and can pin a P.E.K.K.A?
But that's the thing. The pen is too low, so you'd have to like enchant a pack. Like, why would you want to do that anyway? Right? It's just like
there's like one person in the Tarkov world that's doing that right now. I guarantee you, there's one person.
Yeah, going into raid with a friend and using the blicky blip, 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 to get it down to 0, so you can. And that's also the thing about this, right? It's like it only works if you're repairing an armor as well. So like, it's just such a weird mechanic.
Yeah,
it's just such a weird system.
Yeah, that's a good point, because then if you have like a valuable armor that you want to like try to enchant, right? Yeah, it's probably going to be the material type that doesn't repair super well. A lot of the ones are like that. You know, I mean, there's some that are better.
Depends,
but you know, then it's like, well, you only get so many rolls before the thing's useless. So like,
if it's not like Aramid, which is pretty much, you know, all the rubbish armors, or ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, or steel, then you're starting with lower than max durability anyway.
Can you get a roll
combined and all the other stuff?
Sorry, I just had a thought. Could you like get a roll on the soft and the hard, or is it only the hard that can get this? I'm gonna stop you.
It's soft as well. I know this out of context conversation sounds very, very bad.
Yeah,
but no, you can get it on like random parts now, because every part is its own piece. So you can have an armor with like a random enchantment on like the right soft like
so
coverage.
Bad.
It's so like, yeah, it's bad. So you only really care about it on the plate, but you can get it on the soft armor as well. But like, you only really care about it on the plate, to be honest.
So the armors definitely are not good. I mean, it's been a while since we talked about it. I'm sure we've talked about this before in detail. I do remember I should say, I remember the weapons being more interesting, because you could get like, couldn't you get like rate of fire, or was it damage? I can't. There was something.
We talked about interesting stuff. This is again the issue. You know, it's like useless junk like MOA.
Yeah, that's pretty useless.
Reduced durability burn.
Yeah, it's like very niche stuff, right? That's usually the
stuff
case.
That just it's like third order things within the game. You know, it's like, what do I actually care about? Well, I care about, you know, stuff like what's the you know, what bullets can my gun fire? What RPM do I have? What's the potential ergonomics of my weapon? Right, those are the kind of the things you really care about. Second order things, I would argue, are things like, you know, bullet velocity and stuff like that. You know, and then like third order things is like MOA and durability burn. The things that we really don't like, heating and cooling, things we just really don't think about that much.
Spread, reducing spread.
That's just like MOA is just, unless you're sniping, it just is not a feature of this game. Like it just isn't. Like you have to worry more about the screwed up zeroing system than you do about MOA
true.
per se.
Yeah, that's true.
So like discontinuities between different rounds zeroing in Tarkov is way worse than MOA most of the time, most situations. So, and like, most of the time when you're sniping, you're using a gun relevant for sniping, at which point you're probably around 1 MOA anyway. So it's like, oh, and then again, I mean, let's have a look. Weapon repair. These ones are also incredibly stingy. I think I had a conversation with Tower about this one time because we were just talking about it, and it's like the absolute best enchantments that you can get for weapon are 20% reduces weapon spread, which is, I mean, again, that's MOA, and 30% reduces malfunction chance. Well, malfunction chance is a moot point because you keep all your guns above 93, so the only possible malfunction that you're going to ever get is heat, which doesn't occur on any other weapon outside of like 9x39.
That's
That's completely irrelevant. And then the reduces weapon spread thing, it's just like, well, 20% on MOA is like nothing, right? Like if you've got like, oh, and let's have a look. If I'm going to buy, if the target menus have just frozen on me, but yeah, if you're going to go and like barter for an M4, right? And that M4 has got 1.82 MOA. So you reduce the weapon spread by 20%, and that gives you 1.45 MOA. It's just inconsequential. Like if you're talking about MOA, it should be like half. You know, stuff like this. I just feel they should bump them up like a ton. You know, if they want to make it impactful. Otherwise, just don't bother having it in the game.
You are talking about the elite skill here.
Like, that's the elite skill. That's the best possible one. 20%. It's so stingy. Like 100% reduces weapon spread. That's like starts to become kind of meaningful for certain guns. It's like, oh, I can now use this, and this is my point, right? We need to think about like what do we actually want out of this system. The only time it's going to move the needle is when you say to yourself, I can now use this gun I would like to use for sniping because before I couldn't really because of the MOA. That's really the only point where it makes a difference. It's not going to matter on snipers anyway, because you already have decent MOA for all of the engagement ranges in Tarkov. It's not going to matter for anything that's like an M4 or whatever, because, again, like you're probably not using those for sniping to start with. So you really would need to have something like, you know, a FAL and be like, oh, I've got I got half MOA on this FAL. Now I can use this as a sniper. Oh, that's kind of cool. Otherwise, it's just tinkering around the edges and does nothing. In my opinion. Anyway, rant over about enchantments because it's just not a system. So I can sort of see where BSG, looping this all the way back, I can sort of see what BSG are coming from with the armor repair stuff. But like the way that they've implemented armor repair is just so strange. Like they should be kind of two separate things. The enhancement system should be separate from. I can imagine a much better system where you've got the armor repair kits. That's fine. They just repair stuff, right? It stops you having to spend money at the traders. Okay, whatever. Okay. And maybe you get your skills as well. And then you've got something else, which would be, you know, like some kind of like gun kit or an armor kit or whatever. And then you can just you can apply an enhancement when you want. Like it's contingent upon the fact that it's been damaged. The fact that those two systems are like conjoined is really strange. You know, if you find like an enhancement kit, it's like, oh, cool, I can like add an enhancement and I will get an effect.
Yeah. And it almost seems like it should be a hideout function.
Kind of, yeah, like in the workbench, for example.
Right.
You could put the armor in, and there's a craft, right? You put the armor, like any armor, it's like a wild card. You put the armor in, and then an enhancement comes out the other side.
Yeah.
And then so that would make more sense because right now it's just so weird, and the fact that it's like, well, it has to be damaged first. No fresh armor can have an enhancement. It's just so weird. And the fact that they never did anything like, and this is kind of where we talked about damage or ergo or whatever, the fact that they never introduced anything where, you know, the bosses, for example, or like guns that are found in crates in raid, the fact that they never introduced anything where they can have like unique modifiers that aren't findable anywhere else. You know, if a boss has like, it's got a special gun with like 10 more ergo than normal, just as base. Like, awesome. That'd be great, right? It's like, oh, cool. Or I find something in a box that's like got whatever, you know, reduced, whatever it might be. I
always felt like
increased velocity or something. I don't know.
That sort of thing would have fit better into Tarkov's flea market because right now you just have like basically every seller is like printing the exact same, you know, VSS on the market. With like, and once they put in durability, there was some, you know, there's something there, but like it was again classic BSG. It's like classic binary. It's like, oh, this one's like 100% brand new from a crate, and then this one's from a scab. Which one I'm gonna buy? It's usually pretty. But if they had something where, yeah, like almost like each VSS was unique in its own serial number, there's like, they could even do the kind of thing they do now, where it's like a little bit deviation, But that would be interesting, because then it's like, now you actually have to look through the market. I mean, it would make it more complex, because then someone's gonna be scamming. There's gonna be some
It's a little bit
scammers.
like
But it's
old
more
style,
MMO-y.
Reminds me of kind of Diablo 3,
Yeah.
without the real money market, but when they had the in-game player market, you looked like, oh, this role's got this role, and like,
Exactly.
there's
Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
values for different roles within the same. Like that makes it quite RPG in some ways. But it's good because it means that not every, as you say, not every gun is just a carbon copy of another gun. They're not all the
Right.
same. Oh, this one's slightly better for this, or this one's got slightly better recoil, this one's got slightly better ergo stat to begin with, this one's got slightly better bullet velocity. So then you can go, oh, well, I like this feature, so I'm going to look for one with this particular
And
angle on it.
that would make me want to keep a gun and repair it multiple times if it had like stats that I liked. Like
and
if
didn't disappear with the repair.
Exactly.
It's like this is inherent to the weapon, right? It's like the whole system's backwards. It's just like, oh, here's a nice thing. Oh, it's going to go away though. So tough luck, Enjoy your first 25% of durability, and then it's going to go away. It's like, man, the system was meaningless anyway, and now it like really is pointless.
Yeah, because like even if you do the weapon one at the VSS, it's like you're gonna have to repair that eventually. Like even if you got elite, 20% E reduction, because that's that's probably the one you would want it on. You're gonna have to repair it sooner than later, and you're gonna be back where you started. That's like, I don't know. The juice is not worth the squeeze on anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think unfortunately it's a specifically like durability burn reduction, which is helpful. It means you'd have to repair it as much, but like it's still going to heat up as much as it did. So it doesn't actually change the gun in combat. It just means it's going to get less damaged.
Yeah.
Again,
Finally, after 10,000 hours of grinding my elite repair skill, my VFS can only break its durability, and now 2 raids instead of 1. This is awesome, you guys.
Exactly.
No, but
yes.
Jumping back, I see your point, because we got a little deep in the weeds, but I see your point, and I totally agree that makes sense that they're trying to treat the traders repair as more of like a luxury. You got to pay for this if you want something. If you want to repair your stuff, you need to go out and get it, which kind of fits the whole theme of the wipe, I think.
Yeah, I see exactly. I see where they're going from, but yeah, they're building on a system that's not really meant for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So from there, I mean, the main changes now is opening up more traders, which I think they've gone too fast. Personally, it's my overall high level take on this in general. I don't think it's a hot take at all. I am not at the max traders. I know, but like for a lot of people, it's like, well, what is the point of the trader lock? Well, it's to stop people from just accelerating up the the curve of the traders and having the end game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if most people are gated by like traders spend, then opening them up early actually it doesn't lock really anybody. It only locks the people right at the top, and then opening it up makes it kind of pointless. So we had 2 changes, new balancing changes. Level 4 for Jaeger, Therapist, and Ragman. All been opened upon reaching the corresponding conditions, and increased spawn chances for rare loot across all locations. Again, so we've had this like 3 times now. People are now noticing that the loot has finally increased, which is nice. There's apparently just more loot all over the place. I haven't seen it that much myself, but I've not played a ton because a lot of these changes came over the weekend. Today, just for reference, is Tuesday. I only played last night because I was not on over the weekend. But anyway, so yeah, level 4, Jaeger, Therapist, and Ragman, and then I think 2 days later, because they did that at the weekend, and then yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, yesterday. They then opened up level 4 Prapor and Skier. So the only ones that we don't have now is Peacekeeper, Mechanic, and Ref. The other guys are open. The only one I have at level 4 right this moment, I'm quite close to 2 of them. I could just force the issue, but I can't really be bothered. The only one I have right now is Therapist. That was the only one I had just naturally already. And she's got not a lot, right? The 2 thick item case barters, which are 15 defibs, 15 Lennoxes, like without the flea, it's like okay, 50 vodka, 50 moonshine, 30 whiskies. Maybe that was like slightly more doable because you can make the moonshines in the hideout and whatever. You can make whiskies as well, actually, and find vodkas. Maybe that's okay. You can buy labs cards finally. But yeah, like I don't have any of the others because I'm 500k off money spend. Like that's the thing. I'm on the money spend situation. I'm level 38, so I'm like quite far ahead of most, but not, you know, I'm obviously not the furthest ever. I've not been grinding like crazy, like the full time guys. You know, you look around and you see people at like level 55 and like 60 and stuff. I'm just like, oh my god. But
Crazy.
yeah, so like I'm like 500k off Jaeger. Prepper 4. I'm 400k off Jaeger 4. Ragman, I'm miles away. I don't even have the right level because you need level 42. I'm only level 38. Skier, I'm like 3 mil off. So like I'm quite a long way away from level 4 traders. And you know, not that I'm like the uber grind or anything, but I sure play a lot more than the casual guys do, especially at the beginning of the wipe. And like, yeah, the last week and a bit I've slowed down, but I've put in a ton more raids than a lot of people would have been able to. And most people, the opening up of the traders is accelerated away from them way quicker than they could ever got to them. So I think it's a little quick. They have removed a lot of the stuff that would be problematic, which I will give them credit for. So things like Prapple 3, you can't just do reconnaissance and get the egg barter for a Karun plate. So you can't just go and get level 5 armor there. I don't think so. 5.6A1 doesn't appear to exist on Peacekeeper 4. So, you know, there's a classic staple ammo for, I mean, you know, it's like the class 4 Buster ammo over on Peacekeeper. That doesn't seem to be there. There are some weird things like BT doesn't seem to be on Prapple, but if you complete some of the random, I can't remember which one it is. Is it worst job in the world? I can't remember. Then you unlock like 7N40, and I've seen some of the grinders being able to just buy 7N40. You can't buy BT. So there's some strange stuff. But I mean, the number of people who are going to complete that mission is very, very low. I think Bagman 4 does have some class 4s. I haven't checked it out completely yet. You can see on the flea market, like he seems to have the Bagari rig. I think that's class 4. I can't see the plates, but I'm almost certain it's going to be class 4 because I don't think there is a class. Yeah, there isn't. Sorry, class 5. There isn't a class 4 plate for it, so it must be class 5. The Bagari, I'm almost certain. Does this Defender barter still exist? But you can't just buy the sledgehammer anymore. So this is like where sometimes it ends up making, so that still exists. So the Defender 2 body armor still exists, but you can't just buy sledgehammers off the flea because once you've got a sledgehammer or 2, you don't need any more of them, so you don't really pick them up. Back in the day, they'd be like 100k on the flea because like, what else do you need them for? People using them once a reset for these. That's one interesting thing I used to find about the barters with a single use per reset was that their items were quite obviously quite cheap on the flea because you only buy one.
Right.
And so the demand for those things is artificially low. So the prices stay like there's more coming to the flea than buying them because it's like, well, I'm not going to buy 5 because it's going to take me 5 resets. And so, but then in this wipe, it makes more sense to have, this thing's quite powerful, but like you have to lug a sledgehammer out of the raid yourself. You know, you're not relying on Timmy McTimmingson running factory 50 times with whatever bag they can find and dragging it out and selling it to you on the flea market. You have to go and do the work. So it makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. As I said, I'm not there yet. I don't think there's that much though. From what people have told me, it doesn't seem that much broken stuff on level 4 traders. So I'm kind of okay. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's okay, but I still think it's a little fast, personally.
Yeah, given the context, it makes perfect sense because only the grinders are really going to be at that level and at that cash spent, realistically speaking. So it is a kind of an interesting problem. It's like, as if doing this whole like time gated model, it's like when's the right time? Because like if you do it too soon, then it could be perceived as, you're only helping out the rich and successful players. And if you do it too late, then it's like, oh my god, please, make this game easier. Whatever, it's just like it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, it's not super straightforward when you're kind of manually overseeing the economy.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I don't think opening level 4 traders right now actually is going to make it. I don't think it's going to make literally any difference. I think the game will feel exactly the same because most people are just not there.
Yeah.
And then most of the powerful stuff that was on them is not on them. So that combination of two, it's not like you're suddenly going to get overrun with 5.6A1.
Yeah.
Like just all of a sudden. And Peacekeeper in particular is like the hardest to get by a long way. We were saying before that even Ragman, who's quite a high spend at 7.5 mil, like Peacekeeper's literally like 12 or 13 million to get to his level 4, which is it's a lot. And he's not open yet either. So Peacekeeper and Mechanic are not open yet. And Ref is also not open at level 4, to be clear.
That's one thing I was going to ask you
fine.
earlier, since you brought Peacekeeper up again. But I might as well ask, why do you think they removed the dollars thing? Because I'm going to be honest, when I first heard about that, I just assumed it was an oversight and they were going to change it. Because my argument would be like, if you're going to remove it, it would make sense to like, oh no, UN airdrops are landing full of cash crates. Go out there and find them, you guys. You know what I mean? Like, doing just one thing kind of seems, I don't know.
Well, the counter to that is that they have added a lot of cash in raid, mainly based on the cash registers. So when the cash registers change came through last wipe, cash registers were buffed quite a lot, but nobody really cared because we had the flea and it was just easier to make money with the flea. Like you could go around and you could do a big loot run on cash registers. You could make a mill, but also people had tons of money anyway, and you get a mill every time you sell a Bitcoin, so no one really could be bothered. That has carried on through to this wipe. So some of the best loot runs, for example, are finding the Tarbank key and going and looting all the cash registers in Tarbank. Those ones are like extra juiced, so you can get 350,000 rubles equivalents in dollars and euros, whatever, quite easily. Like your scav often spawns in with $500, $1,000, stuff like that. So there are other ways of doing it as well. I do think it is just a way to like limit the dollars. So if you want to buy from Peacekeeper, he seems to be the most difficult. So they've put his trader spend like twice the price of anyone else. I feel like maybe it's just because he was used a lot and his stuff is quite good. People are using the NATO guns. They are arguably better TTK wise or whatever. It's like one of those things where, like, would you rather use a G36C with M855 ammo, or would you rather use like an AK-74N with PS ammo? Like 545 PS like sounds kind of bad.
Yeah.
Whereas like 556 M855 sounds kind of good, but they're actually almost the same bullet. They're very similar, but there's definitely a feeling. There's just an intuition that you have as a Tarkov player, like, oh, I probably will kill them with 855. Like, yeah, it's because you've got 715, 750, 800 RPM, versus 650. Like, it makes a big difference with those weaker rounds to be able to get that headshot. Like, it sort of acts as a intermediary between an SMG and something with pen that you're just gonna be able to do body shots with. It's sort of that middle ground. So I do think Peacekeeper is arguably more powerful than the other traders. So that's sort of where they're coming from with this. And it's like, well, you need to actually sell him stuff to get the dollars. It makes him. It's sort of another. Maybe it's an accident. It might be an accident. I'm not honestly sure. But from a design perspective, it does make him. You have to kind of think about his dollar dimension a bit more interestingly, rather than just being like, I am only ever really spending dollars. I'm not really finding them ever, and they're just freely convertible from rubles, which is what they were before. So now you have to think about, well, I'm going to have to sell this stuff to Peacekeeper because otherwise, I'm not going to. Even though I've got money, I can't actually. I still got to buy from him the different currency. It sort of sets dollars apart as its own thing, rather than just, well, it's just rubles, but like hidden behind a dollar symbol kind of thing. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I can't really make up my mind whether it's good or bad. I mean, it makes the dollar spend much more difficult, which is maybe what they were going for, because otherwise you could just buy the USD to get your trader spend and then spend the dollars. That's like way easier than selling him stuff. So maybe that was the intention originally, to make it so you can't, you have to sell him things at 20% of their items price and then use that money to buy stuff like you do with the other traders, rather than buying dollars at 100% and then just buying the item at 100%. You get like a double dip basically on his trader rep. But it could be an accident. Classic. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's functioned to make Peacekeeper really quite tricky to access from both the cash perspective, from the money spent perspective. It's not as straightforward, but yeah, you can get more dollars now directly in raid. There's like more sources of like actual cash. We have to go out and find it, and every time I go to Tarbank, I get shot in the back of the head, right, trying to leak this filing cabinet. There's someone in the next corridor. Like it's really hot, right? Because you can make a lot of money, and you kind of need to be first as well, because a lot of the time people will loot it. But that's sort of interesting in some ways as well. It's like, well, it's a hot spot, right? You want to go and get the cash. It's an easy way to get USD. Fair enough. I don't know. Okay, I think that's it with the updates. Let's just try and quickly whip through all of these BSG, Nikita, dev clip, whatevers, because there's a lot, and they're in no real particular order except maybe the first one. So the first one came out quite a while ago. This was on the 1st. This was like just after our last cast, and there's like a few things in this. There's like a gun. Which gun is this? Is it like a new handguard for maybe the MCX or something? I'm
Yeah, I
not
was gonna
actually sure
say it
which
looks
gun this is.
MCXE. That's similar kind of
What does that
style.
say? Something on the upper. It says Radiant Salem. If that means something to anybody, then they could tell us. maybe it's just something else, an AR-15 platform. I'm not sure. And they've got like some wireframe positions, like somebody running through a corridor. That, I mean, maybe this is terminal. It's nowhere that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, it looks undergroundy. Bunker.
Yeah, I thought exactly. It's a bit labsy, but it's quite fortified.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like a sort of half and half between like labs and reserve, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. And we've got some live action stuff, some floor plans, and then there's kind of like it's like part of a logo, maybe. It looks like maybe the side of a star or something.
Yeah, that one.
Hard to say. A disc could be something to do with, like if it's got the letter I on it, or maybe it's like volume 1. What does it say at the bottom? Something to store data with enhanced read-write performance. So it could just be a new item. Can you a new Intel item or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got somebody like just flicking an MDR around IRL. And then this is probably the one that's the more interesting one. There's two maps at the end. So there's this one here, which is a bunch of trees. It's like some kind of sort of shoreline of some description. I don't think this is anywhere obvious that we know of right now, right? I don't believe so.
I was okay. So a couple of things. I was thinking woods, and then I thought, wait a minute, Lighthouse rework? No, surely not.
Well, this is the theory. So if we jump to the next clip. Well, actually, before we do that, we've got the boat, right? There's the big boat, which is clearly a level. They've got like full layers to this thing. There's going to be some part of the terminal or something, which is pretty cool. We've seen a few pictures of this icebreaker. Presumably, this is going to be docked up at the edge of terminal in some way. But let's go back and think about this Lighthouse thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Very Bad Scav did like a bit of a breakdown saying, I think we are having a Lighthouse expansion or fix. First of all, Nikita posted about Lighthouse on January the 21st. I seen in the first image, it was basically when Terratex, who I mentioned before actually, when he said lots of Lighthouse debates, but don't think the map is that bad, it just has some flaws. And this is on the 20th. And Nikita just retweeted it and said, what do we think? And then second, we have the in-development image that we just saw from the recent video, as in the second image. So him and his community have delved into that and could find repeating assets were used in Lighthouse. The last image shows the assets were repeated. Wood log piles are seen only in Lighthouse. The metal cargo containers on the beach shore could be found in Lighthouse only. The power lines shown in the image also exist in the Lighthouse Sunken Village. The fishing docks on the beach shoreline could be found in Lighthouse a lot too. And then he reminded everybody as well, this is on the 2nd of August, where Nikita had said like they were thinking about drying the ocean out or something to add more land or whatever. And if you look at that picture again, it's certainly interesting. Like this could quite easily be the beach section of Lighthouse, quite easily, with added. So rather than just being an open beach, where like the old containers were. For there was that one quest you had to do that's just like on the beach in the container.
Yeah.
It could be that section. So now there's like a choke point of rocks. You could like be up on the rocks, whatever. It's like breaks up that section. Lots of people had ideas for that side of the map about putting a ship there, like a container ship or something. Just anything like a broken container ship so you can run through, and it gives you some cover. Just anything to break up the map to stop it being just so choke pointy and making it that. And this has always been my issue, that there really is no other strategy for Lighthouse other than just to camp. It is the strategy. If you want to win a Lighthouse, you just camp. Unless you get a really good spawn point, you can go somewhere else. Like there's so many of them. down on that edge. If you spawn on anyone on the beach, it's like the best strategy you have is just not to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You move, like you move, you die, right? Like northern spawns are a bit different. Well, I guess they're not north. The ones because Lighthouse is a weird angle on the regular maps. So we're talking east really, which is up by the rocks. That's a bit different because you can get to chalets. You know, you can move up into rogue camp and stuff like that. So there's other options, but for all of those ones on the west of the map by the sea, yeah, you're just like there's just no counterplays, just nowhere to go, right? And there's so many places anybody else could be that nothing you can do. You just have to painkiller and hope that no one's looking, and if they are, then you just die. So I think this could be good. This could be good. We'll have to see how this pans out. It looks like they are making some changes, though. I mean, right at the top of the picture, you can see there's actually there's like a little road. I wonder if that corresponds. I'm wondering actually. I wonder if that corresponds to those chalets off the edge, because you know there's that bridge, and then there's those little huts in the water. I'm just thinking now. Let me have a look. Let me see if that makes sense. This is the Lighthouse 3D one. It actually, maybe. I'm not 100% certain, but it could be. I mean, maybe it could be further down. Actually, it could be further down towards that the big sort of scav outpost.
The only thing that's weird. I mean, this is all pure speculation, of course, but the yellow/orange line that's going across, and like past that, the geometry starts to appear. It almost makes me think that's like the end of the map. Because like originally when I saw this, I was thinking, oh, this is like they took the what is that called? Is that the Norden extract? The one by the road camp. That's just like you just go down the road and there's that. I thought maybe that was like the area. You know, but I just really, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, maybe, but who knows?
I think it's along there somewhere. I think it's somewhere along that line. I think they're maybe trying to fix that in some fashion. We'll see, but it'd be good, right? Like people have been asking for this for ages, and it feels like one of those things where VST is just like we'll literally do anything to not change Lighthouse. You know, we'll do
anything but Lighthouse.
We'll half the FPS on customs. We'll do anything except try to do anything to Lighthouse.
We'll
people are just like, please,
yeah. Best we can do is half FPS on custom.
Pretty much, but there's some other suggestions about adding more undergrounds to Lighthouse, things like that. I'm very nervous about this. I'm very nervous about reservifying.
Yeah, I totally agree. I miss old reserve personally. I know people love duking out in the underground, but like I just hate the nature of gotta go down the Radicoves, you know, just like I miss the old days of I wasn't really a big reserve person, to be honest, but it did basically drive everyone underground. So like doing Shoot Your Born on that map was like you get one chance and that's like a minute at spawn, and then afterwards like good luck. You know, there might be some other dingus up on top of like dome on like sitting on the railing, like perching like a vulture there. He thinks he's safe because it's just like no one's up there except for the one other person doing Shoot Your Born, me. That one came from the memory banks. Oh, Giga's frozen. Hardcore. And we're back.
Great. Anyway, I was saying I wouldn't mind a one tunnel, a service tunnel to get from one place to another. That's maybe okay. But yeah, I don't think I want an underground like mega labyrinth of stuff. Just because I don't want to reservify it. Right. Yeah, okay.
Actually, just last thing. Because like I just like, what's the point in playing? It's like you have this beautiful landscape, you know, this giant sniping map, and like everyone's underground. Just like why do we even develop the map in the first place? So it's just going to be corridor simulator.
Exactly. Random one on reserve. This is a pretty funny one.
Okay.
Reserve was having a bug. No one's quite sure what was going on with this. But scavs spawning like just infinitely. Player scavs. So there's like billions of them. There's quite a few clips of people like spawning in. There's already 20 other people. Everyone's like, voice emoting and like shooting in the air. It's just a complete carnage. Like reserve is bad anyway. It's always like PSG. It's just like you complaining about player scavs on reserve. Here you go. I'll give you something to complain about.
So wait, you're telling me this is all player scavs.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy. I thought it was AI scavs.
no, this is player scavs, and Nikita posted like, "What's going on here?" Just like absolute carnage. Absolute carnage. It's pretty funny. What else? Oh yeah, so then there's a few other bits. We've got he posted a Terror Group, kind of a Terror Group logo, which were it's like a sort of how do we know, like nature sort of badge type thing. It's like trees and then roots and birds and other stuff. Some kind of like nice logo of Terror Group being like, we're in touch with nature and all this stuff. And then quite quickly afterwards, he posted a picture of what looks like a live action version of the Ground Zero Terror Group building. It looks very much like it. Obviously, it's real, so it's probably just inspired the actual whatever it is in game. But it very much looks like it. Like you can kind of see like the little corridor on the right hand side, the saving the mole, kind of bit down there. Like it's very similar, and it's got that front sort of atrium with the glass. So this looks like maybe it's something for Vigi or one of those live action things, or maybe it is actually like in-game cutscene. Don't know. Hard to know. I know there's Very Bad Scav did some more breakdowns. If you look slightly further down the chat, you can kind of see. But it looks like this is like before the fall kind of thing, which is interesting. So it's like could be part of the
I
opening of
see.
the game, and it's
Yeah, I see that.
it also tells you can read into it a bit more about what's going to happen, because this might literally be like the precursor, because it's someone with an AK stock approaching the Terror Group building, which in and of itself is menacing if you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this the Bear Squad turning up? Finally, the police have been denied, and here they come, and then this is like just after this is like the shootout where the Terror Group building gets like destroyed and the whole thing collapses.
Yeah. And then
Could
scavs
be.
come and spray paint arena, and I guess that's not arena. That's probably Russian letters I don't recognize.
Yeah, something like that. We have a screenshot of Lightkeeper's room with the caption, "Who still uses Winamp?" Lightkeeper still, apparently. So this is his computer area. Again, like Very Bad Scout's been doing quite a good job. I think in sort of the absence of Nice Guy doing like the deep dive stuff, he's sort of taken the mantle on a little bit to do some of the kind of investigative work. He's shown a few of the videos that it is actually this, and this is the computer. These are the maps that he's got on the table. The document on the table is part of the abandoned town for woods.
I love stuff like this. The cleverness of like gamers, just like, I need to see the table. How can I? I know. I'll use the BSG's jank code to like bug out my camera by free looking, dropping my gear, picking it up so my camera's bugged. So now when I go in the scene, it's like he's looking to the left. It's so good, actually. Very clever.
Yeah, it is good. Very, very good. Very, very good. So yeah, there's some stuff there. I mean, whether it makes any difference, I don't really know. They're probably just like random maps or whatever. Maybe not. Maybe they are meaningful, but kind of hard to know. What was this next one? I called it random, so I can't even remember. Oh yes, this looks like something from their YouTube shorts. It's like the balaclava sort of scav using the computer with like everything exploding.
Sorry,
You stuck on the old one.
Yeah, I got caught up in the not Nice Guy, Very Bad Scav.
Very Bad Scav.
Yeah. What? Wait, I clicked on the wrong one again.
I just called it random. It's just one of the BSG employees getting blown up outside for no real reason.
He's like on an office desk.
Yeah, with a bottle of vodka at the back. It looks like something out of their shorts though, because remember there was one short where he's like typing away and then the whole computer explodes. I think it was when they released the patch. They were just like, this is basically what's happening. It's just like someone just typing.
I don't remember that.
And Nikita's like, go fix these bugs, something, and he's like, and then he's just like typing, then smoke starts coming out, and then the computer explodes. So I think some of their shorts are quite funny.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the last one is that they banned a bunch of cheaters. Really, I've actually remembered of something else. So 3,600 cheats have been banned since July the 17th. So that was on the 7th. So that was in 3 weeks or whatever. I wouldn't say. I mean, cheating. I guess we would make a quick mention of it. I don't feel like it's necessarily too bad right now compared to normal. I have had my first reported and confirmed cheater back the other day. I was up in the very, very tall tower up at the station on Shoreline, and I thought, well, I'll just sit here for a bit and we'll just do a bit of sniping. And I was like watching this one guy, and I'm not sure if it was the same guy. Someone was like running, and then he disappeared, and then I just got hit with like 545 BS in the head from like nowhere. And the guy's wearing like the full killer mask, like all this stuff. It's like standard account. It's like level 9, has played like 80 hours or whatever. I'm just like, good shot from the man wearing the killer mask. It's very interesting that he managed to see me. And I did get that one. I got 100k for my trouble. You reported a cheater on Shoreline, and it was indeed a cheater. So, but yeah, I mean, it depends on your region. It depends on where you are. I don't play at the weekend. There's someone Crowless in chat saying that you can't play Tarkov on the weekend. I don't actually play at the weekend, so that's probably to my benefit. But I know some people are complaining about it at the moment. But it's very hard to get an idea of like what's good, what's bad, is it worse, is it not? Like, it's very, very hard to know because everybody's individual experience depends on when they play, which region they play in, like what servers. Because it's just really hard. I do feel like I have quite an easy time playing. Usually midday or evenings. Like Europe is like not a bad one, I would say. That's what I feel, and also not being like uber chatty and going to all the hotspots in 2 seconds. So that definitely helps.
I was just curious, just trying to like, because we talked earlier about player count stuff. I was just like, well, what about cheater count? Because what was it, 3,600 in basically a month, 3 weeks to a month, closer to 3 weeks span of time. And I was searching through some of the old posts, and from July 9th to the 16th, there was 2,000 cheaters banned. So like, kind of similar, a little higher ratio maybe. Probably, yeah, definitely a little bit higher. I mean, the only other, some of these are kind of hard to tell what was happening at that time, but like back in 2023, June 30th, I guess from July, yeah, okay, so from June 30th to July 28th, there was 2,400 cheaters a band. So I don't know, it seems kind of samey.
Those are the ones getting caught,
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
Talking about player count and stuff, there was one final thing that I forgot about, which I've just remembered now, because it was a reply, and I've put it in our doodad. I've called it CCU. It's the first time that we've ever seen any player count numbers from BSG. Because Desmond basically said the game is legit 50% time spent matching. Now, whatever changed with matching needs to get changed ASAP, or people are just going to stop playing. Every other raid is a cheater, and then it's back to 5 or 6 minute loading screens. And Nikita replied to him saying, like, this is the matching wait time chart in seconds. No anomalies detected. Current CCU is something around 45 PvP, which is interesting.
That sounds about right.
It does seem about right. I mean, especially given that we are only not even a month in. The player count towards the end of the wipe. I mean, you have to be a bit careful about comparisons. But when we've looked previously at the end of a wipe, numbers of people that have max strength, numbers of people that have clicked on a particular quest, those statistics are global in a sense, right? They capture everybody, whereas CCU is just a snapshot of that time. Like, not everybody could be playing EFT because at one particular snapshot in time, but people in Asia are asleep, for example. So CCU is a different, like CCU is like it's a different metric, right? Because it moves through the day. So the 45k, I mean, that sort of makes you think, well, maybe it's sort of 80 to 100,000 people that are playing, whatever, maybe, which seems sort of, seems about right, given that usually at the end of the wipe we tend to have like 10 to 20,000 people at the end. It doesn't seem necessarily too low, honestly. But again, we're just kind of taking his word for it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting seeing this. Like some of the spikes. I mean, I know they said no anomaly detected, and there's like probably a tolerance for certain spikiness depending on the granularity of each server and like who's playing and whatnot. But yeah, the average time for matching is like 2 minutes or something, which I guess is not too bad in the the context of Tarkov, but in the context of like other games, still it's still quite a long time. Like 120 seconds, 150 seconds, 180 seconds is sort of within that like central bell curve, which is sort of somewhere between 2 to 3 minutes, and that's just matching the loading or anything else.
How'd you get 2
Obviously, it's been made
minutes?
better. Well, because it's because at the left-hand bar, this is in seconds, right? It says this is the matchmaking
Presumably.
wait time chart in seconds.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh, yeah, yeah.
on the left-hand side, so
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
120 is kind of like the baseline, right? That would be 2 minutes matching.
Yeah, yeah.
200 seconds there, which is sort of the top edge of most of the bounds. That's just over 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an improvement. It's an improvement. And the fact that we can use our stats during the initial stage of matching means it's less of a problem. But it's interesting to see this, right? It's just like we've just never seen this kind of information before.
Yeah.
He didn't reply back to anybody, unfortunately.
I have a question. What is AF on this chart? I know what Asia, Europe, Middle East, Oceania, Russia,
Africa, I guess.
South America. Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
Africa.
Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. Interesting.
Which probably means predominantly South Africa, I would imagine.
Yeah,
But,
probably. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to, that was the one thing that was driving me crazy. I had to know. I was like, what is it? American French? No, that can't be it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just interesting to see it. I've never seen it. And and those ones, those low pop servers clearly have more variance, right, in their matching times. You know, you see that's the green line, the Africa line is like quite high. The Middle Eastern line can be quite high. South America sometimes can be quite high. That's in light purple. And then
kind of surprising that Oceania isn't high. Usually that region.
It is in some ways. You can actually see it with the red. The reds can be sort of popping up there.
Not as high as
Europe
Africa.
is pretty low.
Africa sticks out really hard.
Yes, indeed.
No surprise. Europe and Russia are looking pretty good. USA, little minor peaks here and there, but nothing too egregious.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's the Tarkov, I think, right now. Working our way towards max traders. I've still not used Daddy Ref. Once I get up to max traders and they release like Peacekeeper 4 and Mechanic 4, then I'll probably just be like, all right, we did it. You know, I can use Ref. To be honest, I won't actually need to by that point. It's quite funny, but I'll open all the boxes.
Yeah.
Over on Ref. I got a lot of crates to open, I tell you. That'll be a whole stream on its own. Waiting 50 seconds for every crate. Or whatever it is. Yeah, that's quite funny. Like somebody asked me the other day, they're like, is there any difference between the two crate opening things? Because there's like two different crafts for opening crates. One of them is
just like,
longer, and one of them is shorter.
Why
is it like, yeah, they just never got rid of the old one. Why does it even need to take time?
Weird. Yeah, it's so weird. It's just I'm sure
they're
it's
like, everyone's complaining about 5 minutes. We'll make it 1 minute. Okay, it's just like, hey, come on, just make it like 2 seconds or so, like 0. You know, you just press the button and you open the crate. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
I often since I'm kind of detached from Tarkov nowadays, and especially like arena stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, I forgot. There's these crate crafts in game. Like it's sometimes it just sounds like a fever dream whenever you talk about these things. Like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We have like loot boxes of sorts and in Tarkov now.
And exactly.
It's just
it's loot box. You gotta log in daily to collect your like loot boxes.
It's just weird. I mean, it's not like really a loot box.
Color.
Yeah, I did. Battle Pass skins and stuff. I mean, that stuff's. I mean,
cosmetics, but
yeah. That stuff's not really. But yeah, the
I need to log in to collect my Nicki Minaj PMC skin.
Speaking of Nicki Minaj, transition. You want to tell me about the Blizzard Nicki Minaj skins in Battlefield?
No,
I saw you play this weekend.
Unfortunately not. I did play Battlefield 6. Did you play? Did you play it?
So I booted it up Friday night because I saw you could download it, but you couldn't play because you had to buy early access. But I think you could play tomorrow, which would, the following day, which would be Saturday. And I ended up not
Yeah,
playing. I mean, a couple of my friends talked about playing. Someone got on, and they were like in a really big queue. And they're like, ain't got time for this. So yeah, I haven't really played it or really looked at it other than little
fair
snippets.
enough. Me and a friend, we were interested in playing kind of as a precursor. Like a lot of our other, just everyone's busy. All my friends group people are busy. I've got like it's like one friend's just like traveling all the time. One friend's like doing like a house renovation themselves. I've got
Mm.
another, and like working as well. And I've got another friend who's just like they're about to have a baby. It's just like everyone's just like super busy. So anyway, me and my other mate, um, we were like, well, we'll jump on and have a look. And he was like much more keen than I was because I was kind of like, well, I'm not going to do a stream. Like, it's not really a stream game for me. It's like very chaotic. Like, it's like worse than Arena. Right? For like for streaming if you're just solo. Um, other than just like the main look. But I just wasn't really that keen on playing it on stream. So he was like, oh, we should really look at how to do this, and you can play like Thursday or something. And I was like, oh, really? And some people in chat before were like, oh, you're going to play Battlefield? And I was like, well, I don't have a key. And they're like, well, you can just get a key quite easily by like going on one stream for a little bit, and you can get a key that way. And so I did look into it, and I was like, oh, actually, you can literally just go and do that. And so I said to him as well, like, oh, we'll just watch like any old stream and just leave it on for half an hour, and then you'll get a key, and then you can load it up. So we did that actually, and we ended up playing. I think it was Thursday, the day they opened. So we managed to get into the early thing. Well, I think I just put like Tim the Tapman on for half an hour, and it was interesting. Like there was a big queue when you first launched it. It was like 65,000 or something, but it incremented down, at least in Europe, in like 20K a time. So it probably took maybe 2 minutes, and then we were in. We were just into the menu, and I mean, what are my overall thoughts? I mean, so I'm not really. I think I said this last time. I'm not a massive Battlefield guy. Out of like all of my friends group, I've always been probably the least Battlefieldy guy. I was always more of like the Call of Duty player amongst us, but I did play Battlefield with everybody. And my favorite one was Battlefield Bad Company 2. So that's kind of really where my benchmark comes for this. I'm less of a six tanks either side, and there's all the jets everywhere. I'm like I prefer them to be a little bit smaller scale. So there's maybe one tank, maybe a couple of helis, maybe an AP like some IFV or something like that. I like to be. I don't really like driving the vehicles. I like to be on foot, but I like to feel as if there's a counterplay to the vehicles. That's sort of
Yeah,
my broad stance.
yeah.
So anyway, the beta, it was it certainly was fun. It felt a lot more like Call of Duty than I was expecting it to, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, that's just down to it feeling very fluid. Like the movement felt very, very fluid. Like all the vaulting works really well. Going prone and standing back up. It's all very fast and responsive, which is what you would expect from an arcadey type game. And anybody who's saying that Battlefield should be a mil simmy type thing, like it's never really been like that, right? This Battlefield's always had the defib paddles and people dolphin diving and all sorts of weird stuff, right? Like it hasn't been a mil sim for a long time. But irrespective of that, it's kind of got that vibe of like the older style games. It isn't stupid and full of gimmicks or anything. It's just like it's quite interesting in that way, but the maps were very small within the beta. Apparently, there are some bigger ones that are coming this next weekend. So I'm going to be playing. This has actually come at the perfect time. So usually I get completely screwed over for this LAN that I go to. I go to one of the Epic LANs here in the UK, and that's why we're probably not going to be doing our cast at the regular time this week on the Friday because I'm going to be at Epic LAN, and that's Thursday through Sunday. And the second wave of the Battlefield beta is going to be Thursday through Sunday. Like absolutely perfect. It's like could not be
That
any
is
better.
good.
So usually I get screwed on timing, and this time it's like the stars are aligning, and we're all gonna be able to play together without having a game. It's gonna be a beautiful time. But apparently there are some bigger maps. So the maps that I played the most, I think I got it up because I couldn't remember. There's one called Liberation Peak, which was interesting. And I played like a couple of different game modes, but mostly what I played was oh gosh, what's it even called? Is it called Rush? I can't remember. But it's basically you've got attackers and defenders. Defenders have infinite lives. Attackers only have so many tickets. Attackers have to basically break in and like capture usually 2 points. Sometimes it's one, but usually 2 points. So defenders have to sort of distribute themselves between the 2 points. And if the attackers take them over, then they get a few extra tickets added, and then it moves back to the next line. And there's like 5 stages. And attackers have to go all the way through and capture the final stage. So Liberation Peak was interesting. It was quite small, very corridory style map. There was occasionally a tank that came with it. I think it was just one, or like I think it was a tank. It was maybe it was IFE. I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention to the tank that much. and there was it just didn't really feel like there was many places to go at the beginning. Like it was very, very linear, especially on the attacking front. It's like you walk, there's like a little hill in the middle, like a little rocky outcrop hill in the center. On the right, it's just like all people sniping you. On the
Yeah.
left, it's just an open terrain, so it's kind of hard to flank. It's like bit of a meat grinder. I was like, would do with a little bit more, openness. But it was still fun, and the fast-paced gameplay is like pretty good. I started to get into some of the, the different weapons and whatever. But I'll probably come back to this in a minute. But I thought the UI was like absolutely atrocious. But this personal opinion.
Oh god,
Then there
yeah.
was but yeah, just like the menu is just horrible. But so Liberation Peak was like really congested at the start, but then it opens out a bit more as you go on. The very final one is like it's like a hill fort assault, and that one's actually really cool because you can kind of get around the side. There's like a few different ways to go in. It's difficult to attack, but there's lots of angles you have to kind of be defending if you're on the defenders team. So it's so that was pretty fun. Then there's the other one, which is the Siege of Cairo. That's very like corridory through buildings, that kind of thing. It's quite easy to get lost and like not know exactly where people can be. So once you learn the map a bit more, that'll be a bit easier. And that was quite fun too. That all kind of it felt sort of samey depending on, even if you were like moving around from one point to another, but that was quite good. And then apparently there was another one called like Iberian Offensive. I'm not sure if I even played that. I feel like I just played literally those two modes, but supposedly there's one called Empire State, which is coming up, which is like a US style map, which should be pretty cool. We'll have to see for the next one. But yeah, so it was all very small scale for the time being, which was like super fast gunplay. Some of it was like ultra chaotic. I did think in places like, I could do with the maps being just a little bit bigger and the spawn points just being a little bit further, just making it a bit more structured.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of my strongest memories of Bad Company 2 is a map called Valparaiso, and that was sort of through a jungle and then down through a town, and that for me was like the perfect kind of thing where it's like there's a relatively definite front line, but you can go around the side and do kind of like behind enemy lines ops yourself if you want to. There was like some helicopters and like some APC type things, but not too many. That was like the perfect balance for me. So I would like the maps to be a little bit bigger, because at the minute I felt like you're trying to defend this point and there's like people just coming from literally like behind the side, like they're spawning all over the place, and it's very, very chaotic. But it was still fun. Now the UI, I mean, I just couldn't get to grips with it. Some people said, "Oh no, it's totally intuitive. I understand it's no problem." But I was just like, man, I'm even trying to get the controls to work. I found that really hard. They've got like normal controls and then infantry controls and advanced controls and like stuff's just all over the place. For me, I was just like trying to get certain things the way I wanted. I think it's also because they have done. It probably is going to be good in the end, but pretty much everything is customizable, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. But finding out where those things are, they've done them in a way that's a bit different to what you would get normally in another game. And so it is quite comprehensive. But so for example, like I'm a heathen and I use toggle ADS in most games. Not every single game, but in most games. Like if it's really super fast paced, like if you're playing like Apex Legends, then I probably won't use it there, for example. But like in most games I will. And just playing the beta, I was like, I just want to use what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
I'm going to use toggle ADS. And it took me, it was the third session before I actually managed to find the control, because it's like it's in some other bit. It's like not even in the controls. It's in like game settings or something. And then you scroll down and there's like one line. It's got its own heading, and it's like master like toggle and hold controls or something, which is cool. Like once you find it, you're like, hey, this is super powerful, because you can control, like the master controls for like crouching, like all the stuff, like ADS, everything. So it's in there, but it's not in with the rest of the controls. So I just like missed it for ages. I was like trying to find this damn thing. It's like just really, I just want to play the game. So at the beginning, I just kind of dealt with it, and yeah, just finding some of the other stuff is a bit annoying. Like there's a compass at the top, but that's not on by default. I saw it on, I think Big Fry posted it on Twitter, and I was like, "There's a compass," and it's again that's like hidden in some like HUD settings, advanced HUD settings. You have to then like turn
by default. That seems
really weird. Really strange. And so a lot of people don't even know it's there, so it makes it kind of hard to figure out. If you're on Discord with people, it's just like, oh, it's this direction, that direction. It's just not on by default. Very, very odd. So I think it's going to take a bit of getting used to. Same with like the weapons modding and stuff. It wasn't really clear to me. Maybe I'm just stupid, but it wasn't really clear to me. And I didn't spend that much time.
Boom, we're back.
Yeah, it's all good. But anyway, yeah. So Battlefield, yeah, it's definitely fun. We'll play it much more extensively at the end of this week. So that'll be good, and we'll get a bit more game time in it. I find like the gunplay is pretty good. The recoil's pretty decent. It's more sort of PUBG pull down style of recoil. The destruction's quite cool. The gadgets aren't too gimmicky. The revive system's revive system's cool. You grab someone and you're like pulling them back, and you can get them back up while you're like pulling them back into cover and stuff. So it's pretty neat. It feels good to play. It feels good. It's a good experience, I would say. It's a good experience. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing a bit more actually. Getting into the groove of it, unlocking some more of the things, getting into the groove of the shooting, and pulling off some cool stuff. I did have a few situations where it's like you can find a spot because people just spawn in and in and in and in. If you find like a spot where people are going to be coming through, you can get like 6, 7, 8 kills in a row. And one thing I did find was that it's quite limited ammo for your guy, so you kind of rely on some people to put down ammo packs. I think support can put down ammo,
right.
but a lot of people end up like not doing that, so you end up just like running out, which is kind of annoying. And the shotgun on assault is probably a little OP. It one shots you at most reasonable distances at close combat. Like if you hit your shots, you just get one tap by this thing, which is fine. But it seems a little too easy in certain circumstances. You don't need to necessarily be even that. You don't need to click on them even that much, and they're just dead. You just deal 100 damage and they die. But no, it was fun. It was definitely fun. Definitely a game to play with friends. I wouldn't play it on my own, I don't think. But definitely with friends.
Is it going to be free to play? I imagine not.
No, I don't know how much it's going to be actually.
Okay.
How much actually is it? Battlefield 6 price. I want to see how much it is here. It's probably a lot, right? That's quite... Oh, you can get it on Steam, can't you? I forgot about that. It is going to be £60, so it's quite expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of what you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you get a campaign of sorts. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I
guess
don't even
so.
know
I don't know actually.
This stuff is half the time.
We'll just be playing it for the multiplayer probably.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty box standard though. For these types of things. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it said. It doesn't really say too much here, but
yeah,
it also runs quite well.
Oh, okay.
I would say actually for how it looks great. I did have to delve in to find DLSS. Otherwise, it was sort of a little lower because it is quite graphically intensive. But with DLSS on, it's completely fine. Like it plays it at like 85 FPS, which for me is fine. I don't mind. I didn't have to tinker too much with it to get it there. I literally just it was a little low, and then I was like, let me put DLSS on. Found it in the arcane menus. I read the tome of spells, to actually use the menus. Find DLSS, stick that on, and and then it plays like 85, which is fine. And it's very stable as well. The frame rate's very stable. So that's good. I didn't notice after I did that. I didn't notice anymore, which is always my. That's kind of the holy grail for me. It's like once I'm not thinking about it at all anymore. I don't need to touch it. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know if this was your complaint, but my complaint was like, and maybe it's like a bit of a boomer complaint, but I kind of hate the consoleification of like every UI. No, I don't even know if it's like consoleification. It's more just like maybe it's like Netflixification. Like I mean, the Call of Duty does this. Battlefield 6 seemingly is kind of like this, where it's like everything's got to have like big vertical tiles, like YouTube, and then it's like these big giant buttons taking up. So like I joined a party with my friend, but and I messaged him, on Discord, and he was AFK, and so I'm sitting there. And I realized, like, okay, well, he's not AFK, so I hit, or he's AFK, but he's party leader. So I hit play, and I'm like, how do I leave the party? There's no real leave party. I don't remember how I did it. I think I had to, like, pull up a different menu, and it was, like, press F6. So, like, what? Okay. It's, like, where's the leave? Like, I hate stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Some people were saying it looks like a, mobile kind of
that's a great
like free to play game kind of thing, like lots of
it's just
stuff,
like I want my clean small text. You know what I want? I know exactly what I want. Okay, this is gonna perfect segue. Take me back to 2004. All right, join me on the adventure. Xbox is back. It's hot. It's cool. I mean, I never left. But anyways, um, give me something like this. All right, boom, big text, giant thing. Your titles, boom, boom. You got campaign, multiplayer, profile, settings, credits, quit. That's all I need. That's all. I don't need these giant squares, sliding bars. Okay, I went down. How did I even? I don't know. I was looking for some single player games to play. I was looking through my library, and I saw I had Halo, Master Chief Collection. I was like, oh, I like Halo. I remember playing it a couple times. But maybe I should play Halo 2 because I remember playing that. And so I played Halo 2, and I think I played a mod. Because long story short, there's Halo Anniversary Edition, which they like kind of sort of remastered the old games. I mean,
Right.
you know how that goes. Um, but and then they've been making updates to modding tools and Steam Workshop integration, so it's actually fairly seamless to get a mod going. But I didn't really play anything too crazy, and yeah, Halo 2 sucks. It's like legendary difficulty, like Jackal Sniper sucks. That game is awful. But I want to talk about Halo, the original, because man, I heckin' love this game, and I forgot like how good it was. Although it is kind of showing its age. Now I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but just to confirm, because you were more Team PlayStation, so you have not played Halo, correct?
I have played the first one on a friend's
Oh, okay.
Xbox.
Yeah.
So I've used the Needler and
Oh, yeah.
some stuff like that, and I loved the game. I thought the game looked amazing, right? And like, because there wasn't really an equivalent for that over on PlayStation, which was made me sad. So I have played it a little bit.
Super cool. That's actually how I played, is at a friend's house, which is
Hmm.
God, it's just like so many good memories. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like parts of the game like really stand up really well, like the test of time. But other parts feel like they're showing age, like the level design. It's like
Mhm.
a lot of levels just feel like very mazy, puzzly, like super easy. Like it's just like they use the exact same room layout like multiple times. It's just like a tower of multiple rooms. I mean, there's some egregious levels, but Halo is just like so like revolutionary for time. I mean, there's a really great documentary. I think it's on Bungie's thing, and I think this is like a Halo 1. I think it's technically like a maybe this isn't it, but there's like a Halo 2 documentary out there that has like a lot of Halo 1 stuff sprinkled in it.
Mm.
But it's super interesting too, like the story of Bungie and Halo, because I mean originally it was supposed to be like this big, massive, you know, almost like top-down isometric war game with like aliens
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, it was like completely different. Then they were like, "Oh, let's try third person," and then like eventually became what it is today. But part of that was because of the Microsoft acquiring Bungie. Because what what happened was, which I didn't know this. I heard it from this YouTuber Noodle in one of his videos, and I think you can, I went and like fact checked it, but basically Bungie, they were working on this game for Mac devices. Like it was going to be like the Mac, one of maybe a Mac exclusive. I'm not sure, but it was showcased at like Macworld or whatever back in the day. With like Steve Jobs and whatnot. Um, which is funny to think, is in an alternate timeline we wouldn't have got the game that we did on Xbox, etc. Um, but what I really wanted to say was the reason why the acquisition happened was because Bungie's put out a game. I think it was called like Mythic or something. And there was one really interesting feature with that game. You could play it, the game works fine, but should you choose to uninstall it, it would uninstall, but it would also like delete your system files. So they had to like immediately recall like 50K or 500,000
Oh my
copies. Like
god.
it was basically a nightmare. And there was apparently some other stuff that was causing issues, but things weren't going so hot financially. So yeah, they got to deal with Microsoft. Or like Microsoft was like, hey, we're making a new console. We want to compete with Nintendo and PlayStation. We need a big exclusive game to come out. You guys have got some pretty good stuff under your belt. Here's a load of cash. Make something. And so one of the classic things of Bungie in their games, like specifically the Halo series, is like feature creep, because like, man, their scope was like so wide, and they have this trend of like, if we didn't, if it got cut in the first game, we're probably gonna bring it back in the following game, which is like super cool to see. um and there's like a lot of stuff that never got made the light of day, but yeah, it's just like super interesting how it came to be. And like they had a challenge of like, once because they had a lot of groundwork done once they started working for Microsoft. But then it's like, well, how do we make this like now? Because it was going to be like a PC game or Mac game, whatever. How do we make that into a console thing? So they had like a lot of unique challenges, and it's just such a cool game because they took like the limitations they had to work with, and then like even today, like the actual gameplay still really holds up, I think, because you have like a very the world slash AI like reacts to you. Like my favorite features is you have the little grunt minion aliens, right?
Hmm.
And they're super cute. Like, they have talking this like high pitch funny voice or whatever. And then you have the elites, which they're like the more kind of more like your counterpart. They have like energy shields, they're
Yeah.
tankier, they're more threatening. Should you kill an elite where they're like the grunt minions are around, they'll like freak out and then they'll like run away from you. Which just like you feel super, because I mean the game itself, you basically are just like the super soldier, It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Master Chief, I'm saluting you, sir. So you definitely fulfill that fantasy, but yeah, just like I love stuff like, and then like you'll learn the elites, if they like are near death, they'll like scream and roar and like charge at you knowing they're gonna die, which is just like super cool. And like that doesn't happen every time, but it will definitely happen a lot of times when you throw like a plasma grenade, because it's like a sticky grenade. So if it sticks them, it's like they know they're gonna die, so they're just gonna like run at you. It's just, I don't know. There's like a lot of these like details, and the sandbox of the combat is just like so good, because you can only hold two weapons, which like, prior to this, it was like you had the keyboard, so you had like a weapon wheel slash all your numbers 1 through 9 and
Yeah, so
0.
you slowly collect like every gun kind of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. So they're like, how are we gonna make this work? And then so like now you have like weapons that are like more specialized and like combos, because you have like this health and shield system. So the plasma weapons, all the Covenant, the alien weapons are like more damage to shields, or that was kind of like the general theme of plasma. Whereas like the human weapons, like headshots, they do more damage. If you expose or shoot them in the flesh and they don't have shields, they'll like die. So there's just really cool, like the classic OG combos. You get the plasma pistol, you charge it up so it shoots this one big burst, and it'll instantly take out the shield. And you switch to like, you know, assault rifle or pistol and shoot him. And the Halo One's pistol was kind of broken. It was broken, actually. If you look at any footage of like speed runs or multiplayer, everyone would use the pistol. It's just like, it's funny because the lore behind that is, I think the main one of the game designers, he did like a last minute patch where he buffed the pistol.
Right.
And that was basically what kind of cooked it, because it was like complete. It was just like way better than any other weapon by a long shot. I mean, it was basically like a DMR effectively. Like it
Mhm.
was just kind of busted. But man, yeah, just like I don't know, just that. So you got like the sandbox gameplay, and one of the common things you'll hear in like their documentary, like the devs talking, is they had this like really strong idea of 30 seconds of fun. It's like they wanted to, instead of just like throwing stuff at you, they wanted to like boom action and then let stuff breathe and then boom
Mm.
action, and kind of that was like the general idea. And you really feel that in the game because like I don't want to spoil stuff, but the music is just like, have you heard the soundtrack, like songs from it? Surely it's somewhat iconic, so you've heard like the monks singing, but it is just like the music is so good. It's like a blend of that era, early 2000s, and oh, okay, yeah, you temporarily froze, but I guess that was, I
I'm
thought maybe
good.
you were reading chat. You were reading chat. You're good. You're good. Um, yeah, it's just like they have like this, monk, choir horn, like chanting mix of like early 2000s electronic sound as well, and then like contemporary music, like horns and trumpets, like maybe not trumpets, but like horns and drums. Like it's just such a unique soundtrack, and it's just it's so peak. It's so peak. The soundtrack's amazing alone.
I feel like I should go back and play it or something because I do remember bits and pieces of it. I
Hmm.
remember because it's quite wide. Like some of the sections are quite wide open. Like you didn't really see that normally, like big like grassy fields and things like that, which you didn't really get in other games. When was the warthog introduced? Is that in the first one?
Yeah, yeah.
Because there was like
And
so. I just remember like messing about with friends, just like blowing up the warthog and like make it fly through the air and stuff. Like the physics on
yeah,
that was
that
just like really fun to interact with.
yeah. That was definitely the highlight, was the Warhawk physics. And what's funny about that is apparently it could be said that the game, like when they were designing it, and they were playing it, I think there was some point where they came up with the Warthog idea, and then basically instead of like, they're like, wouldn't it be cool if you yourself could like drive instead of like pilot, top down strategy? What if you drove it? And so the joke is like they basically made a game around the Warthog. Is kind of like the loose joke. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Warthog is just, oh man, it's so good. Like the physics of it, a little jank, but it's also just like so good, so
I just
good.
remember like stacking up like 4 plasma grenades underneath
Yeah,
this thing and
yeah.
making it go whoosh, and like
It's so much fun.
zooming this thing across the map.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and you could have people inside. You could like drive over and have them go, and blast off. Just like stupid stuff. You could just like
yeah,
drive around in the sandbox and just enjoy it. That's the proper kind of like pre-teens, gameplay thing where like you don't even necessarily need the structure of the game
yeah,
to actually have fun. You could just mess around and just be, yeah, the sandbox is enough without anything
yeah.
else.
And I know some people probably listen to this and are like, "What the hell are these boomers talking about?" But like back then, there was like this was nothing like this, like at all. I mean, maybe not at all, but there really wasn't anything to this level. And yeah, I mean, it's just like also just like the plot twist. The story is like okay. It the biggest thing is God. It's like sci-fi space mystery, and
I don't
there's a
know the
twist.
story at all.
It's I don't want to
So
spoil it because I mean it's not like huge
yeah,
spoilers, but they did a pretty good job with the first one.
maybe I'll
Given
play it one day.
yeah, you should. And if you do, you should check out. Well, first watch. I watched this YouTuber named Noodle. He has like a couple Halo videos. I recommend. Great stuff. Halo's important. That's a good one. Um, Now should you play the first one, or maybe you're hearing just like, hey, I remember playing Halo. That'd be cool to play it. You should check out Ruby of Blue. Um, Even if you don't, even just for purely entertainment, like just to watch the videos because they're
Yeah.
really well made videos. But this person's doing like balancing mods for each of the Halos,
Huh.
and they've been doing this for like a really long time, but since the
Cool.
tools have gotten updated and changed throughout, now they're like redoing their entire catalog, right, for all the Halos.
Nice.
And the videos they done on these last couple of ones are just like really high quality, really well made, and like, I mean, they're just good videos. And these are like with the Halo 2, because Halo 2 was the interesting about Halo 2 is that was, you know, Halo 1 was like selling to Xbox. Halo 2 was basically selling Xbox Live. So they focused first on multiplayer, and the single player campaign it shows basically. I mean, there was some cool aspects. You got to play also as the Covenant side. There was like a Covenant storyline, which was pretty cool. But yeah, highly recommend checking out Ruby of Blue, their mods, and also their videos. Just like one thing I appreciate too about and this is the last thing I'll say about this topic is this person's videos. They were very like, you know, generous in stating how they have like infinite time. You know, uh, it's sometimes easy. A long way of saying sometimes it's easy for, I think, modding or people like appreciating mods to be like, wow, why can't developers do this type of thing? Which, you know, I fall into that bucket as well, and I just appreciated that they were like acknowledging a lot of different things. Like they have the benefit of hindsight, for example. You know, that they can kind of like quote unquote correct some of these things or change some of these things to you know, elevate the game. It's cool. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
So, what about the Deadlock LAN? What happened?
Okay. This one's crazy, Giga. So, Deadlock had its first LAN. It almost didn't happen. Basically, this person named Prince was doing a LAN in Toronto, Canada. And it was, you know, it's going to be at a local like PC cafe thing. I think the grand prize was like 3K or something. And there's going to be a couple teams, you know. I don't even know about a couple. It was going to be people who played Deadlock. Some on the professional side were going to assemble a team for the LAN and thing. And people were excited because it was like the first actual, like it was the first LAN going to be happening. I mean, it's not a Valve event, nothing like that. Everything else has been online. So it's a bit of a historic moment. And so you had like, I think it was like 3 teams, one of which actually being the University of Toronto, I believe.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah. And then essentially what's happened, they were playing in the qualifiers online because the like, you know, grand final was to be held at this LAN event. And this person, Deathy, who's kind of like a prominent figure in the Deadlock community, midway through the game, he starts going AFK, which is kind of
Right.
odd. And he's playing an official match. And I mean, granted, you know, they were winning, but anyways, point being, it was to be revealed later. Well, then later during the stream, he's like talking to his teammate. He's like, "Hey, I got some juicy drama for you." He's like, "What?" He's like, "So the land's canceled." And he's like, "Wait, what do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, the guy literally is just straight up canceling the land." And it was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to him right now." So Deathy's like, "What's going on? Why is this getting canceled?" And they're just like, this things just aren't lining up. You know, he's basically very like vague about it. Like it's just kind of weird. And Deathy's like, you can't do this. People have like made plans around this. Like people have made arrangements, bought hotels, bought plane tickets.
Mm.
You know, like you're screwing over a lot of people. He's like, I've already canceled everything. I've already sent the emails out. So that's just like, okay, well, like, what can I do to like take over? Like, whatever. Like, I'll like, we gotta be, you know, salvage this thing. And so, long story short, in a matter of like 4 hours, Deathy through like his community and you know actions through himself and everything he's kind of had established, like he's been running his own tournaments, Death Slam, and they're like
Right.
just like amateur. You know, if anybody can really sign up or whatever. It's just like for fun, people to get involved in like competitive gaming. So he had like a little bit of the things you would need to like assemble, you know. So he worked with some of his inner circle and the community because then the other crappy thing about this whole situation is the Prince guy. He was like, he wouldn't, you know, that thing was like, okay, well, I'll run the event, but can you still fund the prize pool, right? And the guy's like, basically, like, no. So there's like, you know, now you can have a land event with no prize pool, right? Like, it's just not gonna. I don't know. So Deathy and his community, they raised like $5,000. Like someone donated 3K, which is like absolutely
Wow.
insane. And so they had a bigger prize pool before, which was super cool. And essentially, they were able to like pull it off. And despite, you know, it was a little scuffed. You know, it wasn't like, but it was still very good. I mean,
Mm.
some of the interviewers or people doing the hosting interviews are like I thought were like very professional and a very good job. I haven't seen before. I don't really watch a lot of like Deadlock esports. I mean, there's like a small esports scene, but just because of the nature of the game and just get my own interests. But
Yeah.
anyways, it happened, and I don't know. It's just like a super cool moment for like the community to come together and like pull through. Because I mean, again, it wasn't like the biggest land, wasn't the most highly produced or biggest prize pool ever known to mankind, but it was the first Deadlock land, and I thought that was cool.
I think it's doing any of this stuff, anything real, not online, is hard to do. So the fact they
Hmm.
managed to salvage it at all is amazing.
Yeah, I mean the
I,
surely the community really pulled through. Deathy has a one or two. The one that's playing on screen is like a more high produced because I assume what happened. This was like a French Canadian um like movie indie people, and they were like, "Hey,
right.
we play Deadlock. Let's work together, blah blah, and we'll help." I don't know. I'm kind of like filling in blanks here, but anyways,
Mm.
there's two different videos. One is just like a talking head of gameplay in the background. The other one that's like more highly produced, a little bit more snappier. But yeah, if you're interested to hear the whole story, because it is like, let me tell you, that Prince guy. Oh man, it's really
Crazy.
special. Yeah, special kind of someone.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah,
No, it's good. It's good to hear.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess like, I was just thinking about what we're going to end up playing. I think we probably will end up just playing a lot of Battlefield at this LAN,
Yeah,
just because it's there.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know whether I'm not sure if anyone's still into Deadlock. I know some people were before. I don't think anyone's played for a bit though.
Yeah, I'm really waiting on. There's rumors of. I mean, we're due for a quote unquote big patch, but there's rumors of open beta, and like with that patch,
Mm,
a bunch of heroes. Because one of the problems the game has right now is like fatigue. I might have talked about it before, but I'll be
yeah.
brief. It's just like it has some like there's like a couple of heroes with like 80% pick rate, which is like kind of absurd. I mean, it's only like a 15 or 20 so hero roster, but
Yeah.
seeing the same going against the same character every, you know, 8 out of 10 games, they can get kind of like tiring,
Mm.
especially if that hero is like kind of annoying and meta-y. So I would love some new heroes, but yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the thing
Battlefield.
for us. We'll end up just like defaulting back to Dota if once we're fed up with Battlefield, probably.
Dude, I've seen some stuff from Dota. I'm just like, what is going on? I can't even like keep up with the the nature of the game anymore.
I haven't even looked for so long, for a couple of months, I think.
Yeah, I'm honestly too intimidated to try. It's just like, where's my gun? Where I want to shoot something.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna take a break this week. Return.
Yeah, exactly. A little break this week. We'll probably come back next. I mean, it's kind of been like a week and a half, and then we'll do another week and a half, and then we'll come back on the Friday, I imagine, something like that. It's just gonna be easier than otherwise. We're gonna be like off schedule.
Yeah.
And stuff. So unless something crazy comes up, but yeah, we'll probably just bundle it all into the next, not this Friday, but the Friday after, I would think.
Yep. That sounds good. So, until then, see you next time.
Catch you later.